Welcome to the bold analysis. This video of goons storming a PCA church in Mwiki where Rigathi was attending a service is very disturbing. And I'll want you to watch that video twice because there is some observation. There's some observations that I want us to make. And before I even try to interrogate, do you think whatever happened was stage managed? And if it was stage managed, by who? In this podcast, you'll get my position. You are free to challenge. You are free to share your other thoughts about it. But I've tried to gather what reporters took, some footages of reporters from that place, and scenes that probably you've not seen in other videos. Number one, the first observation you can make from that video is that Rigathi was the target. Someone had a target to achieve, and it's very clear that was scripted. I have seen a narrative, some analysts are taking it, and especially state bloggers, they're running a narrative that those young people you are seeing there wanted to attack Gachagua because allegedly Rigathi mobilized them to heckle the president in Mount Kenya and they were not paid. So that is why they were targeting Rigathi Gachagua. So one question that one then wonders, the number, those young people there, when you spoken to some, a reporter from People Daily, who was actually saying that the number of those goons were not even 20 something. There could be around in the 18, 15 there. It was there was a heckling in Nyandarua. There was heckling in Meru. There was heckling in Githunguri. There was heckling in Lari. So did all those people mobilize to go there? So that is a no. And in fact, I am also rubbing off the narrative that Rigathi Gachagua was behind it. And this is my point. Kindly look at this video. There is this video of, and I just want you to watch this.
Fuck you!
Did you not? I know you've not seen this anywhere. This video, that security detail, unaona akuna bunduki huyu mwenye mevaa the brown combat. That is Rigathi Gachagwa's security details. And did you see that man receiving strokes from the alleged goons? Akichapwa, fighting with those goons, akichapwa. So do you want to tell me that Rigathi staged, and he staged it na security wake, then are not involved, then the said goons are even fighting with the security detail? I find that narrative, people who don't just want to take the truth. The reports that the goons were allegedly dropped just by a nearby center, in a nearby road, by a Nissan which had a distorted number plate. So the goons were determined to head to church. And in fact, I saw a report by Melita Oletenges.
Good morning. This is Melita Oletenges, live from PCA Kasarani East Parish, where there has been fracas here, witnessed just a few moments ago. And what is happening here is that the church service is right there. So there has been disruptions from goons who are trying to access that gate over there, and they have been charging, and a few moments ago it's hard to disperse them using gunshots, but there has been no visible security presence, only security officers who are guarding the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua have been able to repel them, but we have seen pockets of grouping from the other side, and they have been forging a united front trying to access this particular church and disrupt the church service where the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is expected to address. So that is the update as at now. We are seeing running battles from security officers guarding Rigathi Gachagua and youth who are trying to gain access to the church service.
He did this video akiwa on top of that building. Remember, before in the church, your church, from the gate, like from the previous video we've seen, from the gate, where those fellows are fighting, ni some building under construction. So unapita hayo ndio unaingia church, because church iko sandwiched just in the around, is surrounded by that structure. So my little Tenges was on top of that unfinished, incomplete building, and he actually reported on a very clear view of this fracas. So with this, you still want to tell me that someone organized it, so that I find that escapism. I find that escapism. And then what worries me most, it's in the church environment. church environment. Of course, Rigathi was headed there. And when there is attack in such a church, there is an element of fear. And you may need to, I just want to throw a question to a clergy. If you want to invite Rigathi to your church the next day, then you see such a scene, will you feel comfortable? You will fear. Because you never know what can happen. It already profiles Rigathi as a man who is, and in fact, the general understanding that goes out to the public is that was a framed one. And I can tell you, someone had an objective to achieve. How long we are hit with fake terror attack to scare people before elections? We're already seeing chaos in churches, goons, and intimidation. Once fear kicks in, it's easier to rig, silence people, or mess with the voting. Once fear kicks in, and that's why I'm saying in a church, these are the issues of fear. And you'll see, when you listen to Rigathi Gachagwa's speech, he was taking on the president, on talking about the issue of church and really framing it on the president.
Ulikuwa umetuma watu huko Nyeri nje ya kanisa. Sasa umekuja mpaka umeingia ndani ya kanisa. Sawa, tulikuwa tunafikiria utapanga nje ya kanisa. But you have become bold. You don't care anymore that you are sending goons through the governor hapa ya Nairobi kuja kuangaisha kanisa la Kristo na kuangaisha sisi. It's okay, there is no problem. Wewe endelea kama unaona hivyo ni sawa, there is no problem. We are aware the Deputy Inspector General aliambia polisi wasikuje, but a few policemen in plain clothes walikuja wakasaidia pale, which is okay because there are some officers who are conscious that they have a constitutional obligation to protect life and property. Last week umetutumia polisi kutuangaisha Naivasha, which is okay. Lakini tunashangaa kwa nini? Kwa sababu wewe hapa kwetu mlimani hakuna mtu amekuuliza. Si ametembea? Na nikaambia watu wamkaribishe. Bora walipe, si ndio? So now let us be decent people. The way umekaribishwa pale, wachana na sisi tutembee pahali tunataka. And even if you want to pursue us, don't pursue us inside the church. But of course, when we were seated here, wondering why the president would go to that length of sending goons inside a church to attack leaders, to attack Christians. But we also remember that sometimes back, kanisa ya Kiambaa, watoto walikuwa huko, walichukuliwa wakarudishwa ndani wakachomeka. So we are not surprised because hii ni tabia ambayo inaonekana it is consistent. So where rais endelea, no problem. Lakini ujue hii kitendo ya leo, uhusiano yako na kanisa ya PCA is irreparably damaged ever. So wewe endelea tu vile unataka, it's okay, there's no problem. And other churches are seeing. Hakuna mtu haoni. Na mimi sijui ni kwa nini kama sisi we are nothing. We are finished. We are nobody in this country. Why are you pursuing us?
So, I know someone will want to sit in a very comfortable space and say, staged. Yes, planned, not impromptu. And if someone knows that, then that is it. Why did they send the police? Immediately the fracas happened. Why are we not seeing, there is the nearest police station that's not very far from that place. Hakuna polisi yameenda. And the Rigathi Gachagua security had to shoot in the air 3 times. just to try, of course, to create that. And I want you to imagine a church where we also have Sunday school and have gunshots in a church. We're even scaring the children. With those children, there's some people that will have to leave that church. Violence is backward. Violence is primitive and very retrogressive politics. In this channel, there are things that we don't second guess. There are things we don't condone. I've always been saying, on political violence, I have no chills, because violence begets violence. And we cannot, in this era, continue with this kind of politics. I have seen a script. You also have to realize the fellows there were determined to enter in that church service, even though they didn't succeed, even spoiling the reputation. And it was bad. John Ruto, the senator who was also alongside Rigathi, of course, taking it clear on what really should not have happened.
Karibu.
Asante, Governor wa kesho, Your Excellency, the Second Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, wachungaji wote tukiongozwa na moderator, na nyote mliofika. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Mwadhani agoshwo. Basi na mimi sitasema mengi, ila kusema kwamba sisi tumekuja kuleta kiongozi wetu Rigathi kutimiza ahadi ambayo alifanya hapa kanisani. Kikanisa tunasema ni nadhili, na kwa hivyo sisi hatuna mengi, ila ni lazima tulaani kitendo cha aibu sana ambacho kimetokea kanisani humu hii leo. Na mimi nataka niambie rais wetu kwa heshima sana kwamba watu walichomeka katika kanisa kule kwenu Kiambaa. Watoto wetu wameuawa, watoto wa Gen Z. Umefuta wale waliokusaidia kupata urais wakiongozwa na Rigathi Gachagua, Ndende Nyoro, Mithika Linturi, Moses Kuria na mengine mengi. Yale yote unaona kama tunataka kuamini Mungu amekusamehe, lakini kwa kitendo kilichofanyika kanisani hii leo, ikiwa ulihusika wewe na Gavana Sakaja, nataka nitangaze katika jina la Yesu, uongozi wenu Mungu amesema mene mene tekeli. Kwa sababu huwezi kufanya hayo katika kanisa ambako tunamwabudu Mwenyezi Mungu, eti kwa sababu Rigathi amekuja hapa.
But in this podcast, my position, if you ask me, I'll tell you, I am not buying Rigathi Planet. I'm not buying that thing. Why? You cannot tell me that you plan mpaka magari zako zipigwe mawe, and you plan, okay, that can happen. But you cannot plan without your security details knowing. They should not shoot on air. And honestly, if Rigathi wanted to garner some bonga points, then why didn't he plan heckling in Mount Kenya? Why did he plan heckling in Nyeri? There was no heckling in Nyeri. Doesn't he have, could he, if there's a place he could plan for the president to be heckled, that was Nyeri. He didn't. There was no heckling the president was received in Nyeri. And there is the mastermind. And from that Citizen TV video, you can clearly see that that was an external force. That was not a Rigathi Sacco force. And this is what I hold. The two camps behind who are the mastermind of that fiasco. The first camp is Ruto handlers who wanted to divert attention of Rigathi. Remember that church service was the first one after Mount Kenya tour. And it goes without any doubt that Rigathi was going to take that opportunity to attack the president and neutralize his forays in Mount Kenya. So one thing they did, or the one factor that was much involved in it, is the fact that they knew when we create that, every speaker and the plan for that service, the speeches are going to change. And they will take more time attacking the president on this and divert attention on. So I don't see the possibility of elimination. I saw Rigathi talking about elimination. No elimination. In fact, if the narrative of Sakaja is there, but not very strong, because Rigathi still doesn't have a strong Sakaja opponent. And I didn't see that opponent campaigning, using that opportunity to campaign. But clearly, someone knew that Rigathi was going to talk about Ruto's tour and all that, and so wanted to divert the attention. That could be the first camp behind that fiasco. The second bit is this. You realize the number that went to that church was not a huge number. So even the congregants, even if the congregants would just be brave enough and confront them, they could not outnumber the congregants. But this was a trigger. And you saw Rigathi Gachagua security detail bodyguards shooting in the air. I'm seeing a possibility that the deep states are forming a ground to disarm Rigathi. You might see the day or the next day someone carrying a story that they're summoning for Rigathi Gachagua security to be disarmed. And disarmament is supposed to reduce his political mobility. Remember, he's getting to the month of May, and in that month of May, the deputy president is going to launch that new party, and from there it's believed he's going to upscale his political activities. So I am seeing a long scripted plan to ensure that Rigathi is disarmed. One way or the other, his security details are going to be profiled about that incident. The other issue is a revenge after Mount Kenya heckling. Someone could be revenging. Oh, I know some people will go and advise the president. All those places in Rigathi amefanya wamekuwa heckled. And so what to do, not even president in it. These things cannot be done by President Ruto. These things are done the small people hapa chini. But with the higher protection, the revenge against what the president underwent. And the other factor you can't rule out is Kimani Ichung'wah axis. Ichung'wah was heckled. And for quite some time, he was actually the center of focus. I saw him shedding some crocodile tears, of course, trying to condemn what happened. And I saw that condemnation as just some sarcasm. But we need to be very wary. These things should not happen in this day and era, because we are actually killing political future of this country. When fear kicks in, democracy is going to be under attack. And our democracy is actually under attack. Thank you.